everybody, welcome. It's me, Rokib here. So I want to talk about Batman Arkham Knight. So previously I did make a video where I talked about all the DLC chaos. After the deluge of the Red Hood DLC, PS4 DLC, Game Store DLC, etc., this game was pretty hyped up, even won a GameSpot award or nominated for most anticipated game of the year. So after all of that chaos, really, I'm not surprised that the game failed. And by failed I mean the game has been taken down from Steam, and it's been because of the number of refunds and the number of complaints that have been lodged, really. So what was wrong with it? It definitely wasn't what Rocksteady wanted, or Warner Brothers, the publisher, or Iron Galaxy, I believe, were the people who ported it. This isn't what they wanted, clearly. They lose money when something like this happens. You have to remember that previous games, Batman games on launch, have had issues as well. So it's nothing particularly new, but this is pretty major. This is a contender for Game of the Year, becoming a contender for worst Game of the Year, simply because of the technical problems, not because of the actual game itself, just because of the technical issues people are facing, just in case you haven't bought the game yet. So there's a few things that I tried to figure out in terms of why it went wrong. And I think the main reason is it was designed for consoles. It was designed for PlayStation 4. It was designed for something that would run at 30 frames per second on your home TV setup. It wasn't designed for dedicated graphics cards, even laptops or monitors that couldn't do more than 30 Hz. So that was a real issue for a lot of people. That was separated from being a console game to an actual PC game, where you could leverage the power of your dedicated system. So this led to me to believe that the PC version was never the priority. I mean, it was obvious that they really wanted it to sell well on console, but the fact that it had changed so very little was the issue. And it made me curious about just how important the console market is, more so than the PC market. Even the bundles were leaned towards PS4 console. When you would pre-order, you would get, I think, a little bit more if you went to game, and you even got the console, which was designed around the PS4 bat logo. And the second point that I've already mentioned, really, is that the game didn't change much from the console version itself. That was obvious. It even had the PS4 interface for the controller, as well as just automatically running at 30 frames per second. Then there was the actual technical port issues, really. The guys that allegedly ported it, the team that did it, the business, I suppose, they were allegedly, from a few different sources, they were just a dozen or so people, which isn't a lot of people to port potential contender for the Game of the Year on such a big game that's definitely trying to push boundaries, trying something completely new in some aspects. And such a small team of 10 or so people isn't overwhelming, to say the very least. So where to go from here on? Or don't pre-order, or if you've already got your refund, which is great, which Steam does now, which is great, not so much for Warner Brothers. But wait for the Game of the Year edition. So in a year's time the game will be near enough to perfection, or as good as it gets. It will be patched, it will have all of its technical bugs, issues, whatever, patched, so you won't have to deal with the pre-order day one release issues that usually occur, or in this instance occur to such an extreme. So who's to blame? I would say the answer is Warner Brothers. Rocksteady have said that they plan to fix things and patch them out in the future as soon as they can, but I think it's too late. The damage has already been done to their reputation as well as financially. Yeah, so just to conclude, I think it should be obvious to everybody now, maybe not everybody, younger gamers, people who don't consider themselves gamers or don't play a lot of games, that it's become a financial, money-making, capitalist-driven endeavor really, when it comes to making a game, hyping it up and selling it, which is sad. Sad thing is that all the parties involved clearly came to a financial agreement and weren't willing to leave room for any issues that may arise, which is why you now have to wait for patches. Honestly believe that the actual finished version will come out in a year's time, because it just isn't ready, sadly, for the people who decide to pre-order. And then it'll be a playable and pleasant experience, and it will allow you, if you have dedicated graphic cards, to push the game to its limits. And sadly, yeah, they could have spent an extra year on the port, really, or at least just said, here's the console version, and sorry, but you just have to wait for the port version, because we've only got 10 guys working on it also. So there you go. I think Rocksteady should have put their foot down. It's sad that they didn't, and unfortunately for them, really, they're gonna suffer. This is their product. They had the 1/3 of the team that made it in respect to the whole thing. Should have put their foot down when it comes to Warner Brothers, in terms of telling them the issues that they have or the problems that they saw, because it's hard to believe that they didn't see that the port version was not to their standard. I mean, sadly, Warner Brothers remains nameless and faceless really, and the whole franchise, the whole Batman franchise, gaming franchise, gets put into that. It's not just about customer service really. I think that's what some people would say. It's about brand loyalty and mutual respect and trust in buying from these names, these big household names, I suppose. And I have no doubt that the next iteration of Batman will be met with more caution, sadly. However, I don't think I'm too cynical when I say that media organizations, when it comes to being given early previews or early closed beta access of some kind, may forget this entire debacle, more or less, and the cycle of disappointment and greed continues, because you know, they will get paid to promote a product that they can't guarantee you and the quality of the game, but it's just the nature of the business, and sadly they're gonna take another risk. You know, they took a risk when it came to making this game and releasing it in the state that it was in. You took a risk when it came to pre-ordering, and it didn't pay off, and luckily you can get your money back, but sadly you wasted time, and a lot of people are just disappointed. You wouldn't expect any other game to be as bad as this, from what I can tell. It's just the nature of the way things are. I've enjoyed talking to you. Hope you enjoyed listening. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know when you think the game's finally at the standard that you were expecting it to be at, and if it's definitely worth buying then. Thanks for watching, guys.